Every year in June, a group of King Edward's boys in the sixth form come to the Lake District for a week to take on the challenge of their Gold Duke of Edinburgh expedition assessment. This year we've got a group of 12 boys who we have split into two groups, and each group has planned a route traversing some of the most scenic and wildest country in England.
Okay, so after sort of an epic 4-hour trek up to somewhere bleak up in the north, we've arrived at a quite sunny, surprisingly sunny for where we are campsite. We're going to spend the night here, and then we're going to set off tomorrow morning nice and early and get on our route.
The requirements of the award say that this has to be a self-sufficient expedition for the boys, and so they're carrying on their back everything they need to sustain themselves for 4 days in mountainous country.
Okay, so just for the first morning we're just going to have some porridge, just because they're quite easy to make, so it's just simply boiling water out of the trangia.
And then in here I've basically just got food for most of the week, waterproofs, sleeping bag.
A thermarest to sleep on because the ground's quite hard.
And then for afters we've got some Pop-Tarts which we're just going to put on the pan.
Warm clothes, spare clothes, stuff like that in case it all gets wet.
We've got sufficient food supplies, lots of food, so I'm a big fan, I need a lot of food.
Emergency chocolate bar, most essential part. And yeah, it's pretty much the guide to my DV rucksack.
Should be quite nice.
Alright, good morning. Today we're heading about 20 kilometres south towards Buttermere. We reckon it'll take about 7 hours.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Sad? You looking forward to today?
Yes, if it doesn't rain, then it should be good, should be challenging.
It's raining already, Sad.
It stops and starts every now and then, but it's going to be a long walk, 20k. Got to be prepared for it.
You keep saying you got something for me, something you call love, but confess you've been a messin' where you shouldn't have been a messin', and now someone else is getting all your best. These boots are made for walking, and that's just what they'll do. One of these days these boots are gonna walk all over you.
Yeah, we just sat here in Buttermere at the end of the first day up in the Lake District. Started off this morning, we were over in Keswick, and a beautiful morning when we all got up. But then we had some quite heavy showers came on, but they've done very well. So they've been walking for about 7 hours, and they're just setting their tents up now in this in the fields behind this farm behind me.
How'd you find your first day, Harry?
I thought it was pretty good actually, pretty better than I expected.
So what's on the menu tonight?
Noodles, just had some rice, not cooked but still tasty.
Looks delicious. Looks very appetising though.
Yeah, it's quite nice, yeah, macaroni cheese.
Proper medieval back here. River washing out your dirty pans, great fun.
So it's day 2, the boys are underway. Hopefully they have had enough food and water so that they can sustain themselves for what is a very challenging day ahead of them. Today they will traverse Scarth Gap Pass and Blacksail Pass before they make their way up into some high, difficult to navigate ground, eventually dropping down into the valley of Eskdale.
Yeah. You keep lying when you ought to be truthin', and you keep losing when you ought to not bet. You keep saying when you ought to be a-changin'. Now what's right is right, but you ain't been right yet. These boots are made for walking, and that's just what they'll do. One of these days these boots are gonna walk all over you.
There's 20 things that they have in the criteria that's needed to successfully complete a DOE expedition. In other words, they're self-contained and unaccompanied.
The aim is to have them feel like they're having their own autonomous trip in the mountains, just them and their mates.
Son, this is
second day of DUV. It's quite an intense day. I think we did 20k over a lot of hills in the Lake District. It's a beautiful day, but it's really hard work, especially downhill.
The whole point of the DUV is you've got to be self-sufficient, you've got to be independent, and you've got to have that can-do attitude, you've got to carry on.
I think the highlight of my day was actually just sitting down and having lunch, because it showed like there was a halfway point in it.
There's a lot of solidarity in the team, so that's another thing about the DUV is the team effort, the way the team makes you feel better, and it's great.
So what was the worst part of today?
Well, because it had been raining so much, everywhere was boggy. So, I mean, Harry Dalton fell over, Sarge stood in a bog so deep it came over his boots. Yeah. I mean, we didn't because we're not idiots like them, but...
Add that in.
How are you feeling on day 3?
I'm feeling quite confident actually. The first 2 days I thought would be quite a lot harder, and now we've got to the third day, it feels like we're coming to somewhere quite close to the end. Yeah, all the kit's been very useful. I just needed insect repellent really, because there's so many midges about, but that's about it.
Are the midges bothering you this morning, guys?
Oh hell yeah. They are eating us alive. They're really, really annoying. They are everywhere. You can't actually see them particularly, but they are everywhere and they just bite and bite and bite. It's really itchy.
All the midges sort of attacked and bit pretty much every part of my leg they could find, including my feet, which is a bit annoying because I need to walk with them. So yes, bring some insect repellent next time.
It's a shorter route today. We're just going round the mountain instead of over it this time.
Day 3, team-wise, they should all be pretty well bonded now. Know one another's little horrors and all the rest of it.
Despite some aches and pains, I think that morale and confidence in the group is at a high. There's a general feeling that the boys are over the worst of it now. They've broken the back of this expedition.
Munching down kebab sandwich. All those calories.
Kebab sandwich?
Yeah.
That's the same thing every day.
Pepperoni and cheese every day. So far I think it has to be said that the boys are doing very well indeed. These guys seem to be working well as a team, keeping their kit together and operating in a way that means they can sustain themselves comfortably in the hills for 4 days. That's no mean feat. It's something they should be very proud of. How you feeling, guys? End of day 3?
Yeah, it's good, yeah. Another day lap.
What's the route like tomorrow, the final day?
Yeah, it's shorter than the rest of the days, but more undulating.
Well, bright and breezy in the morning, isn't it?
I've only been up for like 5 hours.
Congratulations, guys. Successful completion of the trip. You pleased?
Because the groups have done ever so well. They've navigated well and they've walked exceptionally well, and they've all had a really good level of fitness.
The just the scenery and just the countryside that we've been through the whole time, just admiring the views, the actual weather holding up for a change.
I was just yesterday on the wild camp. It was so sunny, it was nice, by a stream, adventure.
And just the weather and the view and everything, it was just great.
We also comment on just how well they've gelled as a team. Although at times they may have made a few mistakes, they very quickly realised where they've gone wrong and rectified it. So yeah, in all, it's been a very good expedition.
I think that the most important thing the boys will learn from this trip is just a little bit more about themselves, really, and about what sort of men they want to be as they move on to the next chapter.
Are you ready, Boots? Start walking.